Hey, human family, it's Darren. Welcome back to Fully Alive again. If daily videos about narcissism, along with powerful tools that help you recover from toxic relationships, are what you are looking for, hit the subscribe button because this is the channel for you. And also hit the bell so you are first to know when I upload a video. You guys, I got an amazing show for you today. Today I want to discuss, is it possible for two people that are narcissists to be in a relationship together? And if so, do they know that the other person is a narcissist too? So much to discover. So let's do what we do, you guys, and dive deep.
No tears, no fears. Fully alive again after this years.
Hey, you guys. I want to use Kim and Kanye West, Kim Kardashian and Kanye, as kind of the foundation for our discussion today. You would have to be under a rock not to have heard about their tumultuous divorce and the things that are happening with them as a couple. I've never watched an episode of The Kardashians. I've tuned into The Kardashians, but I've never watched a full episode. I'd rather set myself on fire before I did that. But having said that, the things that I've seen from Kim Kardashian over the years, and again, it's my humble opinion, it is without a doubt that she is a narcissist, in my opinion. And when you understand these people and have been around them all your life, you really have a sixth sense where you can really detect who and what these people are. In my opinion, not all the time. Nothing is 100%, but most of the time. So it is obvious to me that she is a narcissist, a covert narcissist. Kanye, I struggle with. I go back and forth. I mean, it's obvious that he's bipolar. He stated this in the media time and time again. But is he part of that dark triad of comorbid disorders? And again, it's a pendulum. It swings this way, it swings that way. It depends on which Kanye we're getting. It would not surprise me if he was. But am I as convinced about him as I am with Kim? No. And I know that may surprise a lot of you, but I'm just being very candid here and telling you my opinion. But the question remains, can two narcissists become a couple or even marry? And the answer is, of course. Come on, man. What are you, high? Are you high? Come on, man. Of course they can, and they do. And it's much more prevalent than most people think. We always think it's an empath and a narcissist. When I studied my parents' relationship, early on, I thought they were both narcissists. Until I really examined the nuances of the things that my father did throughout his life and at the end of his life, and the way that I felt when I was around him, and going through his personal belongings once he passed. I am without a doubt that my father was not one of these people. I am without a doubt that my mother is. Now, why do I bring this into the equation? Because often reactive abuse can look like narcissism. A person can be so taunted and so frustrated that they act badly. And they not only act badly, they neglect the people in their environment because they're trying to resuscitate and stay alive themselves. There are a lot of characteristics when it comes to couples that are together, narcissistic couples that are together. The ones that make it long term, statistically, it seems to be that they start off at a young age, like in a high school or college, and they're able to muster through together because, one, in the earlier stages, they don't know. I think narcissists, and this is just my opinion, I think narcissists don't really know what they are, especially in the past, until they get into late stages of adulthood. They know they're different. They know something's missing. But we all feel different when we're in adolescence, don't we? From our teenage years to our early 20s. Those are the figuring out years, trying to get your shit together. I don't think narcissists are 100% sure about who they are. So when they get into a relationship at that age, they're kind of just in it for the qualities, the superficial qualities of that relationship. Like their person that they're with is attractive and they have good chemistry in bed, or etc. And those things seem to build the foundation. Then they merge together as time goes on. And for the lack of a better illustration, they grow into their narcissism together. And all the while arguing like there's no tomorrow. Most of the time, these are very competitive relationships. And I think one of the reasons that they stay together, when you see this, is for the narcissistic supply. Because it's so ample when you're married to a narcissist and you're a narcissist. Because you both are feeding on each other. And remember, it is the argument itself that makes these people happy. There's nothing you can say to them that would really disturb them or bring them to a level of self-awareness. That's why they're not worthy of, or that, let me rephrase this. That's why you should never be concerned with their opinion. It's like getting an inanimate object to have an opinion about you. It's irrelevant. It means nothing. And that's why you should also never get into an argument with them or engage into it with them, because it is your energy frustration that they are feeding on. There is nothing you can say to them that would penetrate the wall that they have around them. The lack of self-awareness. This is redundant. So when they're in a relationship, when two narcissists are in a relationship with one another, they are feeding off of each other's energy willingly. Now, here's the question that perplexed me, and I really don't have an answer for you guys, except they may or may not. Do they know the other person is a narcissist? Early on, I don't think they do when they're young, meaning that they're in their teens or early 20s. I think when we get older as human beings, we get wiser. So they know that, and they've built up a sense of awareness where they can feed and where they can't. And I'm sure even I can tell when I'm around a real woman and not around a one that's dead inside. There's a certain energy there that just tickles your heart, and a certain electricity there that's quite extraordinary when you've been surrounded by these monsters as long as I have. And then when you're around that ebullient, really fully alive human being, it's tangible. You can feel it. And thank God. But do they know? My personal opinion is not unless they're well developed into their own narcissism. And once they're there, yes, they know. They definitely know the older that they get what they are. A lot of people argue that they don't know, and no, that's complete wrong information. They know. It's just like asking you, do you know? If you're heterosexual, do you know it? If you're gay, do you know it? If you're tall, do you know it? If you're short, do you know it? They know it. They know it 100%. They don't want you to know it or anyone else. But they're immune to criticism. So whatever you say to them, they're only going to hear the positive aspects of whatever you say to them and completely purge anything that doesn't fit their illusion. So when these people are in a relationship together, it's all about the presentation. Look at us. Look at our perfect family. Look at our perfect marriage. Look at how long we've been together. Look at our happiness. It's all about the show. The shit show, for the lack of a better term. But to the outside world looking in, you're like, man, I wish I was Kanye. Look at how beautiful Kim is. Man, I wish I was Kim. Look at how rich Kanye is. The world is in a mess. And this is what makes it so hard when you wake up out of the matrix of the bubble that you existed in until you found out you were being abused by a narcissist and found out that you had some healing to do and discovered a whole new world that you wish you hadn't of. One of the most difficult pieces to that is that you feel like the whole world is crazy and you're alone in it. To give you a good analogy of it, you feel like Will Smith in Legend. You're surrounded by nothing but fucking crazy shit and people. This is not the case. You are, but the world isn't to the level that your life is. Because when we grow up with narcissistic parents and people, energy in life is vibratic. So we are a magnet and we pull narcissistic people in, people who are wounded, people who have been wounded by their parents. So you're surrounded by childhood friends that a high percentage of them are going to be narcissists. If you have a parent that is a narcissist, a high percentage of their family is going to be a narcissist. And just to give an example, if you've got 5 aunts and 3 uncles and your mother's a narcissist, probably half of her siblings are narcissists. So what does this do? It creates a cocoon, a bubble, where you're surrounded by these people. And that can cause you to be disillusioned that that's the way the world is. Rest assured, it is not. It's just our world because of how we were groomed and how we were raised. Does that make sense? But having said that, because of Hollywood, now think of Hollywood as a place where people who do what go. People who are actors go. Who are the best actors on the planet? Narcissists, sociopaths, people who are cuckoo, cuckoo, people who don't have a fucking identity because they have to mimic identities. And they're amazing studies of getting the nuances of other human beings down and then incorporating that into their own gesticulations, behaviors, and their very identity and personality. So where would the perfect place be for a career? And you're also put on a pedestal and worshipped. Hollywood. Now, it is this machine that creates our society. Storytelling has been one of the most powerful things, the most powerful thing that human beings have had since creating little drawings on a cave. It's the way that we communicate with each other. It's the way that we teach each other to evolve. So since you know that storytelling is one of the major vehicles and engines of our society, then you have to accept that society is fucking crazy. And to want to fit into that would be crazy. Does that make sense? So in a sense, yes, you are like Will Smith in Legend. You're surrounded by a society that are out of their fucking minds. And that's okay. The greatest minds, the greatest scholars, the greatest thinkers, the greatest mystics, from Jesus Christ to Buddha to Muhammad, have all been screaming until the end of time that the world is in a mess, but everything is okay if you have your inner world in alignment with God and the universe. You see, it was Krishnamurti who was one of the most profound thinkers in the last 200 years. I mean, if there was a real prophet walking the earth, it is Krishnamurti. In our lifetime, rather. Seriously. This man has taught most of the great thinkers in our lifetime. They have all been touched and educated by this man. But he once wrote, as you can see here, "It is no measure of health to be well adjusted in a profoundly sick society. If you fit into this mess, you are either a fucking sociopath, psychopath, narcissist, or just a weak, limp bowl of jello that's malleable and afraid." And I know that's a bold statement, but you're either existing in it, curled up in fear, or you're a fucking narcissist. If you're well adjusted to it, seriously, you're some kind of cluster B personality disorder. And that's okay. That's the way the world and the universe has sculpted it. But if you're recovering from narcissistic abuse and you're trying to take yourself to the next level and unleash your power and enjoy your journey on this planet, you have to remember, you're not going to fit into this shit. It's not for you. And that's okay. But we've been conditioned to want the image and symbols of happiness rather than to be happy. And that's the glue of what keeps narcissists and narcissists in a relationships. Behind closed door, they're arguing, they're feeding off of each other, but to the world, they're the symbol of the happy, perfect couple. And it's one big mind, you know what. It's nothing but an illusion. Most people want to live pretend lives, pretend that they're happy, pretend that they have all of these things. That's not a life worth living. The older I get, the more I could give a shit about that stuff. Don't get me wrong, I've been conditioned in it just like everyone else, but I'll be damned if I live in it. The older I get, I don't care. Your opinion means nothing to me. You have no power over me. Most people are afraid to make a mistake. Most people are afraid to be truthful and show who and what they really are. These people will never know what it's like to be fully alive. It's like driving your car with the emergency brake on. You never know the power and the joy of a smooth ride running on all cylinders with the brake off. Being fully alive means that you will never be adjusted to a profoundly sick society. It will never happen. So you will always feel to a certain degree that you're on the outside looking in. And that's okay. You come into this world alone and you leave it alone. Okay, you guys? So yes, two narcissists can be in a relationship together. They can be married. They can be in a relationship for 30, 40, 50, 60 years, or have a tumultuous divorce like Kim and Kanye are. They can turn on each other on a dime. And you notice another reason I say why I believe Kim Kardashian is a narcissist more than I do Kanye is because she jumps from relationship to relationship like nothing ever happened. When you see people do that, leave relationships after 10, 20, 30 years after having kids with somebody, 5 years or whatever, and before the ink on the divorce paper is dry, they're in another relationship. These people don't feel. They're dead on the inside. It means nothing to them. There's no empathy or compassion there. So they can just leave and drop that person like they're a material object. And like you just purchased a new car. You're an inanimate object to them. Bye, gotta go. I'm bored with you. Gotta get a new car. I want a blue one instead of a red one. When you see people behaving like that, you know that there is an issue there, that there's toxicity there. People have to get over relationships and adjust and process and grow from their mistakes and learn from them and heal from the pain of losing someone you loved. And that's not weakness, that's growth. If your arms aren't sore when you lift weights or when you're getting in shape, if a part of your body's not sore, you're not growing. You're not changing. When you get out of a relationship, if you're not hurt and had to make some adjustments and grow as a human being, there's nothing that the relationship was even worth. That's why people stay so linear and so stagnant when you're with these types of people. But I could go on for hours, you guys. I just want to end right here with it is much better to be abused, tricked, and fooled by a narcissist than to be a narcissist. Thank your lucky star you're not one of these people. And what say you? Do you think Kim is a narcissist? Do you think Kanye's a narcissist? Do you think this is a marriage between two narcissists? Let me know in the comic bots, all right? And until next time, you guys, protect your mind at all times. And I'll see you on the next video. Take care, you guys. I appreciate you stopping through.